Our top priority in the York County School Division is to ensure our students and staff have a safe and clean learning environment. Our return to school plan outlines the mitigation and safety protocols our staff have put in place to prepare for safely bringing students back into our classrooms. While it's not possible to eliminate all risks associated with the spread of a virus, by working together, we can keep everyone as safe and as healthy as possible. So we've put together some helpful videos in which staff will demonstrate many of the new protocols you can expect to see as you walk through a school.
Hi, I'm Alicia Hutchison, Coordinator of Health Services here with York County School Division. One of our strategies for keeping our students and staff safe here is to perform daily health screenings before we come into the building. Never has it been more important than to stay home if you're sick. And that includes medicating yourself before you come into the building. Please don't do that. Once you're here, teachers are going to perform hourly checks on your students. If your child does become sick, we always have a nurse in every one of our buildings. They will come down to see the nurse and they will stop right here and wait for the nurse to come get to them. This way, if there's anything going on, if she's assessing an ill student, there will be no cross-contamination. We have rooms that we have made to be separated so that we do not have the ill children mixing with the well children. With COVID, we have decided we need to do things a little bit differently. We need to decrease the amount of traffic in our hallways. We need to decrease the amount of visits that we have to our nurse. We're going to reduce and limit the number of over-the-counter medications that we're going to have. We also are going to have our teachers do a little bit of first aid for our kids. If they have a skinned knee or a lost tooth, we are going to be prepared for that. Please remember, in addition to the daily health screenings, it is very important that you have your contact list updated and you have your designees aware of the fact that if you are called to pick up a sick child, it needs to happen as quickly as reasonably possible.
Another thing we'll be doing to try to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 is using different kinds of barriers. Here you'll see something that'll be in a front office as a barrier between the general public and our staff that welcome people every day. The most important thing we can be doing is all wearing masks. And so we'll be asking students to wear masks at all times except for when they can be socially distanced at 6 feet. So on the bus, students will be wearing masks all the time during arrival and dismissal and times when they're moving throughout the building. It will only be when we get to a classroom and a staff member knows the students will be staying seated and we've reached that 6-foot social distancing that they'll be given permission to take their masks off. So families, we ask that you provide your student with a mask to bring to school every day. And it's also a good idea to have a backup in their belongings. The school division will be supplying backups if there's an emergency, but we ask that families provide and prep their student appropriately.
Hi, I'm James Lash, Associate Director of Transportation and Warehouse Operations for the York County School Division. For the upcoming school year, we have new safety protocols and practices in place to keep students, employees, and the community safe. New transportation protocols include, at the bus stop, all children should follow physical distancing protocols. All students and staff must wear face coverings while on the school bus. As students enter the bus, they will be required to use touch-free hand sanitizer dispensers located just inside the vehicle. Students will have assigned seating. Students will sit one to a seat whenever possible, and siblings will be seated together. The first students boarding the bus will head to the back of the bus and sit in designated seats to help maintain distancing. Other seats will have signs reminding passengers they are not available. While riding to and from school, students should remain seated and keep their hands to themselves and in their laps. Once they get to school, students will exit the bus one at a time from the front to the back, stopping to use the hand sanitizer again. Rooftop vents will be open to ensure a flow of fresh air into the bus. Right now, all buses are being treated with microban treatment to help reduce the possibility of virus transmission. Before and after each bus route, transportation staff will clean the high-touch surfaces on their buses using the same non-allergenic hospital-grade cleaner we use in our schools. Whenever possible, parents are encouraged to provide their own transportation to and from school.
One of the most effective ways to combat COVID-19 is physical distancing. We've all heard about that, and so to the extent possible, we're going to be keeping our students at a 6-foot distance. Each school will be designing arrival and dismissal procedures to try to keep that 6-foot distancing as much as possible. Of course, students will be wearing masks whenever they're moving in the building. Also, measures we're going to be taking is controlling the flow of direction in the building. And so you'll see directional signs on the floors to help the students keep this one-way direction to stay to the right side of the hall. Inside our classrooms, schools are restructuring their classroom layouts so they can ensure physical distancing to the greatest extent possible. Desks are facing one direction and are either spaced out or set for alternated seating based on the days each student group is in school. So to further the goals of physical distancing, one of the things that we want to do is limit the interactions of students with other groups of students. And for that purpose in elementary, we'll be able to push into individual classrooms with the support staff that is necessary. Middle school and high school, that's a little more difficult given the fact that they have multiple teachers.
When children come into the building, they will have the option of either using the hand sanitizer or their sink so that they can wash their hands and make them as clean as possible. If the classroom does not have a sink, every classroom has been equipped with a new hand sanitizing station. Frequent hand washing is a very proactive step in keeping this virus in check. We need to make sure we do frequent hand washings in our sink. Soap and water, friction, front and back of your hand. Get down around your wrist. Make sure you dry thoroughly. You want to do this before you eat, after you eat, after using the restroom is very important, after recess, when you come into the building and when you leave the building. If you cough or sneeze, please remember to do it away from others. Use a tissue, discard it as quickly as possible, and then wash your hands afterwards. If you don't have a tissue, we always have our elbow. Please make sure we do not cough or sneeze around anyone if at all possible. I know everybody is going to be excited to see everybody else, but remember, we are socially distanced, so maybe some air high fives, some elbow bumps, or maybe just some friendly waves will be perfect to let your friends know that you are excited to see them.
Cleaning and disinfecting is a high priority for the custodial staff as the students return to school. Earlier this year, we've purchased additional equipment and provided training for our custodians to quickly disinfect surfaces multiple times throughout the day. We will be touching the bathrooms several times a day and also high-touch surfaces around the building. In addition to custodial staff cleaning frequently, we've provided the teachers with additional cleaning disinfectants and materials so they can do high-touch surfaces throughout the day as students are in the classroom. In the evenings, we will be doing additional cleaning and disinfecting with some of the tools that I mentioned before. One of those tools is an electrostatic sprayer and then also a high-volume sprayer. The reason for those is we can apply disinfectant very quickly and efficiently, which will let us cover a large area with the limited staff that we have. As we said before, shared materials will be limited, and to that end, what we'd like to do is make sure that we provide a safe environment as possible. We're only going to encourage the students to use the water bottle filling stations, and where at all possible, the water fountains will be turned off. For our outside equipment, we will be applying a biostatic product. This product will provide 90 to 120 days protection from viruses and bacteria. It will actually limit the growth of the viruses on surfaces. We're also looking to do some of the common play equipment such as balls and hula hoops and cones and things of that nature to provide an additional layer of protection for our students.
We will continue to update our safety protocols as needed in accordance with the CDC and Virginia Department of Health guidance. While our mitigation efforts will go a long way towards keeping our students and staff safe, the best way to minimize the spread of COVID-19 or any other virus is to stay home when you're sick. Thank you for your continued support.